Welcome to the business of being healthy, where we are passionate about treating our health as good as we treat our wealth. Sheley Brien here, and I am obsessed with sharing real-life experiences and wisdom to help save you time, heartache, and money as you continue to grow personally and professionally. Twice a week, we push aside that BS to take massive intentional action. And I promise by tuning in, you will receive the straightforward talk you've been waiting for, filled with actionable steps that will inspire you to achieve the health and wealth you desire while you are building your empire. Welcome back to the show, and I wanted to call out something right up front. Is that you may realize that we haven't had any interviews yet in 2024. Well, let me tell you, there is a lot of strategy behind that because number one, I really wanted to focus on a few different things as we start out in this new year. And so I want to make these short and sweet so that we are maximizing your time as you are, holding to your goals and your resolutions and staying focused. The other thing is that there's going to be some really neat changes that are coming out with the show. And so I want you to make sure that you are subscribed, you are following along on social media, on YouTube, LinkedIn, and or Instagram to make sure that you don't miss anything. Because all the episodes have a purpose. And if you're new to the show, welcome. I'm excited to have you here. And if you've been around for a while, you know that I am like that no nonsense, no BS. Let's just talk about it for real because we don't have time to waste. And that whole like fluff of like just the fluff that's on social media, we're not about it. We are all about cutting through the BS and getting to the real deal. And today's episode is, of course, no different because I wanted to focus on mindset. I gave a talk to a group, I mentioned this in another episode, to a group of amazing female founders here in Scottsdale, Arizona. There was about just over 100, I believe 100, 125 of them. And one of the conversations that I've had continually since that talk is about the power of mindset. And I wanted to dedicate another episode to this, but in reality, so much of everything that I have shared has been tied to mindset from different perspectives. Today, however, I wanted to be very specific and talk about a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. And of course, I have some research that I am going to share, as well as real examples from probably some celebrities that you may know, as well as just my own personal experience so that it is relatable to you wherever you are. But let's dive in because there is a significant difference between a growth and a fixed mindset. And as you can imagine, growth, right? Think about is like with a growth mindset, it means that you believe that your intelligence and talents can be developed over time. Growth, right? You're willing to change. You are willing to put in the effort and accept it and take action. Where the opposite, think about fixed mindset, right? Something that is fixed versus movable, right? Means that you believe that your intelligence or your current state is fixed. So if you're not good at something, you believe you will never be good at it. I've shared this before on the podcast, right? I am 5'2" on a good day. I believed for over a decade, probably more like 2 decades, that I couldn't run. I was like, it's fixed. I am 5'2". I'm not built for running. No way. Now I run. I don't run long distance or marathons, but I actually enjoy the physical activity of running. And I had to move past that fixed mindset to get there. And that's where I think really the gold is in this. And I want you to stay along all the way to the end because I'm going to actually share some reflection questions just to kind of help you understand where you are. And here's the really neat thing about the human mind is that it's not fixed. It's really your perception of your current situation and how you are willing to approach it. And I want to start off with just some really interesting information, let's call it, from a Stanford article. This was back in 2018. But Aaliyah Crum, who is an assistant professor of psychology, when this article came out, I love this. She said, if we truly want to tackle the diseases and the crisis of our time, we need to more effectively acknowledge and leverage the power of mindset. So she's in psychology and she's talking about diseases and crisis of our time, and that the actual tool that we need to use is our mindset to be able to go through this. And that's one thing that I want to definitely make you very aware as you are listening to this. If you're on a treadmill, or I love listening to this on the treadmill or on the stairs, or when I'm driving, I do a lot of driving. I don't know about you. I'm listening to podcasts, is that your mindset can be growth in one area. Maybe it's in business. Maybe it's in learning a new skill that you can leverage in your business. Yet in your health, you may have a fixed mindset, or vice versa. So the way that your mindset is, it's not the same for everything. Maybe it is, okay? Maybe it is for you, but you need to also look at, okay, where am I in these various areas of my life? And really start being honest with yourself. Am I in a growth mindset, or am I in a fixed? I would also call a fixed mindset a little bit of a victim mindset. And I've gone through this in various periods of my life where I fluctuated between the two depending upon what I was going on. But I love that quote because it just goes to show the absolute power that your mindset can have based upon what you are tackling at your current state. Now, to go on, Carol Dweck, who is another professor of psychology, she is at the Lewis and Virginia Eaton College. She said, when people are in a fixed mindset, they believe that their basic qualities, their intelligence, talents, abilities are just fixed. But when people are in more of a growth mindset, they believe that these qualities can be developed through effort, perseverance, good strategies, and I love this, lots of great input from others. And I think that there's a lot of that self-reflection in that, is that we can look at certain things that are fixed, but and maybe it is fixed, but how we approach it can be in a growth or open mindset. And I want to share a few examples here because I want to make this relatable to you. Is that, I don't know if you've ever heard about, he is quite a big personality, let's say, to take on, is David Goggins. His book, Can't Hurt Me, phenomenal, highly recommend. But David Goggins, he's a Navy SEAL. He's had an incredible background, like as a childhood, and then how he got and became a Navy SEAL and then came out. And he has had an incredible life. I highly recommend following him. But recently, he was on the Andrew Huberman podcast, or Huberman Lab. And he was talking about how he is now training at, I believe, 49 years old, training to become a paramedic. This guy has just done incredible things, but he has always struggled with learning. And so he can sit there and he goes into it, and trust me, there's lots of F-bombs. He is real and raw. So just be warned when you listen, is that he talks about how the fact that, like, he struggled with dyslexia. He struggled with learning. He was the kid that couldn't learn anything in school, and kids called stupid. He had no desire. Like, how could you even have that desire to want to continue going back to school? He is a relentless individual, but he, even now at 49, is learning a brand new skill after all of the things that he has done and accomplished. And learning is still a struggle for him. So he has a choice, right? My intelligence level is fixed. I cannot learn anything new. Or what he shares is he spends 4 hours a day. He has to write it down. It has to become memorization. When he goes to bed at night, he is almost fearful that he is going to lose what he learned. That being said, he has a no give up mentality, and he continues to fight and fight. So one can say, okay, well, his intelligence level is fixed. But what's not fixed, and where his growth is is the fact that he sees that there is still a way to learn. It might be different. It might be slower. It might be harder than most people, but he is not letting that fixed intelligence level that he was told all growing up stop him from where he wanted to go. Now, another person that comes to mind is Jim Quick. Jim Quick is mind-boggling as far as intelligence level. But if you have listened to his story, he has a book called Limitless. I've read that as well. And I've heard him on another podcast. I can't remember it at the moment, or else I would tag it in here. But Jim suffered if I'm remembering this correctly, he suffered an injury as a child. And in kindergarten, again, he was told that he was slow, that he had learning disabilities, that his parents were told that he was like never going to learn. He was never going to be like a participating member in society. Well, let me tell you, he completely changed that. He is now one of the most sought after experts when it comes to memorization, as well as speed reading. Celebrities learning their scripts, bringing them on. He came on so many different movies to help the entire cast learn how to memorize their scripts. Speed reading in the book Limitless, he teaches you how to speed read. He has completely changed what he was told was a disability for him. So again, you could look at that as fixed, or you could look at it as growth, right? His intelligence level, and he completely changed that. Now, he couldn't do that. Neither one of those gentlemen could do that if they stayed in that fixed mindset. They approached struggles differently with a growth mindset. They used probably a lot of the word of yet. I'm not there yet. But that yet gave them the opportunity, the growth to go learn. Now, for me personally, I seriously have so many examples that I could share in this. But for me, a goal that started in 23 and is continuing on here in 24 is growing my financial knowledge base. Now, if you knew me back in college, I literally changed my major in college so I didn't have to take math. I was like, I'm not good at math. I can't do math. I don't want to do math. I'm just not good at it. I had a very fixed mindset. I did everything so that I couldn't do math. The funny part is if you've listened in, I came out and was a financial advisor. I was helping build, I managed a book of $17 million at 24 years old. I mean, it was crazy. So not only did I learn math, but now I want to take it to an entirely different level. My financial skills as we are building our construction company and the investments and the wealth that we want to grow, I know I need to grow my wealth financial intelligence. And so I actually just recently, I don't know if you're familiar with Ray Dalio, but he is the one who manages, I think it started in the 70s or very early 80s, the world's largest hedge fund, Bridgewater Associates. He is a guru when it comes to the financial industry. And so I am using certain ways to really I love learning from other people. So he was one I was like, all right, let me look at this. Let me look at Warren Buffett. Let me see what all of these experts are doing and what they've been doing for decades and how they approach different investments and the mindset that they have with it. Now, just yesterday, I found a talk where Ray was speaking to Harvard students. This was quite a few years ago, but I found it on YouTube. I started watching it and it was way over my head. I'm being brutally honest here. It was way over my head. I was like, holy cow, I cannot stick with this. How do I was trying to focus and pay attention and listen and understand. And I was struggling. And I was like, God, those feelings again came up of like, oh, I'm not smart enough in math. Here we are again, the financial side of things. And even economics, I mean, all of it. I started kind of falling back into that victim fixed mindset. I can't do this. How am I going to do this? I should just hire somebody. I like to know what we're doing, even if we do bring on somebody to manage it. And there was a point in the beginning, in the first 12 minutes of this talk that he was giving to the Harvard students, where he referenced a 30-minute video on YouTube that I think he posted in 2014. And so I stopped. I went and I found that video and I watched it, and it was one of those like animated videos, but him giving this talk, and it literally changed everything for me. So I had a choice, right? I had a choice. I think I had a few choices actually when I look at it. One, I could have stayed in that victim mentality. I'm like, damn, I'm not going to be able to learn this stuff. Yet again, proving math is not my strong suit, financial markets are not my strong suit. What am I doing? I then heard this one little piece, and because I had that growth mindset, I was like, I'm not there yet, but I know I can be. I listened to that. Now I have more confidence. I'm going to actually watch it again. I'm willing to put in that investment so that I can watch it again, so I can go back and then listen to the Harvard talk and see what I can pull from that. So it's having that growth mindset. I know I suck at it right now, but there is still opportunity to get better. And that's where, regardless of where you are, and when you look at it, like I said, your business, your career, your health, your relationships, parenting, how are you approaching each one when it comes to either a fixed and or a growth mindset? And I wonder, one of the best things, the best tools that I have found, and I shared a post on this, is about coaching myself. It's not always hiring the coach. I'm actually a little anti-coach at the moment, if I'm going to be quite frank. It's about reflecting on yourself, asking those tough questions to yourself, and being brutally honest. And so I wanted to give you 3 questions that you could focus on right now. And I would just encourage you to do it in various areas of your life, and even share this with loved ones or friends or colleagues, because here on the show, we are all about like paying it forward. We are about sharing the experiences, the knowledge that you have gained, which is turned into wisdom because you are now applying it. And so here's the 3 questions for you. The first one is, what if you give yourself an alternate way to understand the struggles you encounter? What if? The struggles are coming, friends. This is life. The struggles are coming. And if you're not taking the struggles, I would challenge you, because guess what? That means you're not doing enough scary stuff that's outside your comfort zone. And so what if you give yourself an alternate way to understand those struggles that you encounter? Another way, how are you approaching failure? Second question, what are you celebrating or praising in yourself? Is it the end result or the journey? This one hit me like a ton of bricks. And I just did an episode on this based upon your resume is not what you think. Your real resume is not what you think. Those accolades are fan-freaking-tastic, but I bet you learn more on the journey. And so what are you celebrating or praising in yourself? The end result or the journey? And then the last question, are you focusing on the physical or the mental growth? Now, let me explain real quick on that one before we close up here. But the physical, right? You think physical, you probably go immediately to health, like, oh, look at like my body or the changes in my body, or, the strength I'm gaining or losing, or what have you. Or your mental toughness. Which one are you focusing on? I will tell you 100% when it comes to your physical health, you will not achieve, and I know this tried and true, you will not achieve the physical health that you are desiring unless you first focus on your mental health and your mental growth and strength to be able to go through it. And on the flip side, when it comes to climbing a corporate ladder and or entrepreneurship, the mental growth, your mental stability, your mental toughness is the deciding factor in the success. Not the title you have at the company that you are at, right? Not the bank account that shows either positive or negative or where you think you should be based upon your efforts. It's the mental fortitude. It is that toughness, the mental growth, the growth mindset that you can leverage. So as I close up, I hope that those questions just kind of start spurring some internal discussion with you. Where are you having a fixed mindset versus the open mindset? And here's the key I always talk about. You might be fixed in one and open in another, but you have the ability already in you to be open and have that growth open mindset. Leverage it into other areas of your life. You don't work in silos. You just need to keep using those skills and behaviors and applying them into different areas of your life. Now, I could go into a lot more on the physical and mental growth side of things. And so I wanted to hold back, and I would just love if that's something you want to hear more about, let me know. Leave a review on here mentioning it. Don't forget to hit 5 stars and or share this episode out on social media, tag me, send me a DM if you would like to keep it private. I totally get that. And let me know if you want to see more or an additional episode expanding on that physical and mental growth. But until next time, thank you so much for tuning in, and we will see you soon.